Good morning, good afternoon, welcome back. I want to share a little bit about Kundalini. It's a very misperceived concept in modern yoga space. I feel that understanding the concept of Kundalini is incredibly helpful for anybody who's on the journey of spiritual transformation, because I believe, and at least this is what I think the tradition is pointing to, that Kundalini is talking about evolutionary energy. And so I'll share my perspective and my interpretation of how I see Kundalini working and what has revealed itself in my own practice as a 10+ year practitioner. When we disidentify with a thought or something we're attached to or an identity, the separation of our attachment to that identification leads to a release of energy. Yeah? You can think about it like this. If I'm attached to something, if I'm holding on to a thought or holding on to an identity, the energy of consciousness is bound up in that form of that thing, that thought, that identity, that attachment. And so the infinite, the potential of consciousness is now trapped into the form of the thing that I'm identified around. You follow me on that? This is a personality. A personality is a combination of many different configurations of the consciousness that's flowing through us into likes, dislikes, attachments, aversions, and we call that me. Or I call that me. But that's not really who I am. That's just a configuration of the consciousness that's coming through me. And transformation happens specifically because, right, transformation, it changes forms, because there has been a release of one form, it's been released, and then it's changed into a new form, right? That's literally transformation. And in order for that transformation to occur, there needs to first be a release of whatever has been held onto, and that energy that opens up then finds its way into a new form. Yeah? That process is Kundalini. Or more specifically, Kundalini is the energy that is released when detachment occurs or disidentification occurs. And the tradition states that Kundalini is perpetually moving towards the supreme reality. Yeah, it's on a perpetual ascent. I get I'm going like this because it's sometimes referred to as a serpent power. But that's actually a misperception. It's said to be, and this is in the scripture, it's said that it's coiled like a serpent 3.5 times in Muladhara Chakra. It's coiled like a serpent. It's not specifically a serpent, but it's coiled like a serpent. That's what the scripture says. And that coiling, that helps me think about this idea of potential and kinetic energy. Because it's like a spring. If I push a spring down and I'm holding the spring down, right? You can think about that. Then and I let go, it's like phew, the spring releases. So there's potential energy in that coil. And if I release the pressure from my hand, phew, the spring explodes up. Same thing with Kundalini. It's like my identity and my perception and everything is pushing the coil down. But as soon as I release that, phew, there's this release. And it's not that we want to always have the, if we were completely awakened, if our Kundalini was completely awakened all the time, we would have no form to identify with, right? There would just be like constant expansion in all directions. And that doesn't really lend itself to living in this relative reality as a human being on planet Earth. And so it's important that we understand the mechanism in which Kundalini works. And the path of yoga, specifically with Hatha Yoga, we learn how to practice and cultivate our energy in a way so that we can work with this evolutionary energy. Because it's like 1,000,000 volts or whatever. It's way more volts than we actually have in us, in our limited identity. Way more. It's infinitely expanding. And so how do we build a relationship to this evolutionary force and release our attachment to the limitation of our personality and the limitations of our personality, so that we can become more identified with a cosmic reality, with a bigger, more expansive reality, the universal self, the objective psyche, universal soul, supreme soul, divine being. Like, how do we build a relationship so that our individual self can be in clear relationship to that infinite self? That's the idea of yoga and tantra. And that's the path with all the practices and the methods to bring us to that place. So I hope that's helpful at giving you some context around what is Kundalini. And thank you for joining me. Really happy to share these ideas with you and these concepts. And if you enjoyed, go ahead and subscribe. Your subscription lets me know that you received something out of this, and it feels very supportive to me, and it helps me stay inspired to keep making more videos, because we're releasing videos at least once a week on this channel to keep you inspired on your journey of transformation. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.